Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the life of one of America's most notorious and enigmatic figures, Colton Harris-Moore, better known as the Barefoot Bandit. This is a story of a young man who became a national sensation due to his audacious crimes, masterful escapes, and the media frenzy that followed. So, buckle up as we unravel the dramatic journey of Colton Harris-Moore, from his humble beginnings to his eventual capture. Colton Harris-Moore was born on March 22, 1991, at Skagit Valley Hospital in Washington State. His early life was marred by hardship. His father, Gordon Moore, battled drug and alcohol addiction and left the family when Colton was just a toddler. This left his mother, Pamela Kohler, to raise him on her own on Camano Island. Pamela Kohler struggled with alcoholism, which created a volatile environment for young Colton. They lived in a dilapidated single-wide trailer and faced significant financial difficulties. By the age of 7, Colton began running away frequently, finding refuge in the island's forests. His survival instincts led him to break into vacation homes, stealing food and supplies. At just 12 years old, Colton was convicted for stealing. His pattern of criminal behavior only escalated, leading to time in juvenile detention centers. Colton's school years were equally troubled. Initially attending Stanwood Middle School, he was transferred to Lincoln Hill Alternative School due to his disruptive behavior. By 9th grade, he had stopped attending school altogether, and Child Protective Services intervened due to concerns. In July 2006, a warrant was issued for Colton's arrest for missing a court date. This marked the beginning of his infamous flight from the law. Harris-Moore went on the run, setting up hidden campsites in the Camano Island woods and continuing his break-ins. He even began using stolen computers to teach himself identity theft. On February 9, 2007, after a 6-month spree, Harris-Moore was captured and faced 23 criminal charges. He struck a deal with prosecutors, pleading guilty to 3 charges, and was sentenced to 3 years at Green Hill School, a high-security juvenile facility.
What is your plea?
Guilty.
But in a Washington State courtroom Friday, he gave himself another title, guilty.
I find you guilty as charged of all of the counts.
Colton Harris-Moore's stint in Green Hill School was short-lived. On February 14, 2008, he was transferred to Griffin Home Residential Treatment Center in Renton. His time there was marked by exemplary behavior, but many suspected he was just biding his time for an escape. On April 29, 2008, Harris-Moore proved these suspicions correct by escaping through an unlocked window. Back on the run, he stole a car and returned to Camano Island. Local authorities intensified their search, and media coverage of his exploits began to ramp up. On July 18, 2008, police discovered a black Mercedes abandoned in the woods with stolen credit cards and a digital camera. The photos from the camera, including one of Harris-Moore lying in the forest, went viral. It was then that the media coined him the Barefoot Bandit due to his habit of committing crimes while barefoot. Harris-Moore's criminal activities escalated as he stole a Cessna 182 from Orcas Island on November 12, 2008, despite having no formal flight training. He crash-landed in the Yakama Indian Reservation and escaped. His flight skills were rumored to come from reading manuals, watching instructional videos, and playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. One of his stolen planes belonged to Bob Rivers, a Seattle radio host. Rivers expressed his frustration over the incident, emphasizing his desire to see Harris-Moore captured.
What do you have to say to people who think that you're the one who posted this $50,000 for Colton Harris-Moore to turn himself in?
I wish I could have done better. No, it's not me. I wouldn't pay the kid. I have considered maybe contributing a little to the reward pot for someone who might turn him in, but I haven't done anything on that yet. It's a sad situation. I hope the kid gets in. I hope he does his time. and I hope he has a good life after that. I think that $50,000 is a great deposit for a lawyer. And ultimately, the reparations will be much higher than that.
By October 2009, he had become the prime suspect in numerous thefts. In February 2010, he stole yet another plane, leading to a nationwide manhunt. The FBI and Coast Guard were involved, and Harris-Moore was still able to evade capture. By June 2010, Harris-Moore had fled to the east coast of the U.S., eventually making his way to the Bahamas. On July 4, 2010, he stole a Cessna from Bloomington, Indiana, aiming for Cuba. However, he crash-landed in the Bahamas and was on the run in a fishing village until his capture on July 11, 2010. Harris-Moore was arrested after running a stolen boat aground. He threatened to harm himself, but eventually surrendered. He was extradited to the U.S. and faced a multitude of charges.
His sometimes shoeless thefts and 2-year run from the law earned Colton Harris-Moore the nickname the Barefoot Bandit.
What is your plea?
Guilty.
But in a Washington state courtroom Friday, he gave himself another title, guilty.
I find you guilty as charged of all of the counts.
The 20-year-old admitted to a string of burglaries and thefts, including cars and boats, many of which were caught on security cameras. The judge sentenced him to more than 7 years in prison. Prosecutors wanted him locked up for 10 years, yet Harris-Moore's attorneys argued he had a troubled childhood. His mother drank during pregnancy. A psychologist testified that Colton started stealing simply to feed himself.
Out of necessity, he has become resourceful. This is a guy who's essentially hungry and is doing what he can to get food.
In 2010, Colton Harris-Moore's ability to flee authorities after a series of high-profile thefts garnered international attention. He eventually stole a plane and flew it from Indiana, crash landing in the Bahamas, where he was finally arrested in a hail of bullets. Many called him a hero. His victims don't agree.
It's very uneasy. You've been violated, and these people that think he's a hero, they've obviously never been violated by something like this.
Ben Tracy, CBS News, Los
Colton Harris-Moore's story is one of audacity, escape, and media frenzy. From his troubled beginnings to his international crimes and eventual capture, he remains a compelling figure whose life continues to captivate and confound. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life of the Barefoot Bandit, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating stories.
Let me out the van about to empty the whole clip. Nigga ain't no man, he had to hide behind his bitch. Yeah, it's cool, we gon' send him through her. Hit you when you're sick, and you know what's up. I'ma keep on shooting till it click. Hey.